Took a picture with Rick Ross.
There's something electrifying about a feud that seems too outrageous to be true, especially when it involves a legendary figure once hailed for never snitching, a relentless hip-hop mogul with a flair for public takedowns, and an alleged government informant pulling strings behind closed doors. For years, Demetrius Big Meech Flenory stood as a symbol of unwavering loyalty in the streets. Now, 50 Cent is turning the narrative upside down by calling Big Meech a rat in front of millions. But how did it get this messy? And why is an alleged informant at the center of it all? Buckle up, because this story moves fast, and every twist is bigger than the last. It's no secret that 50 Cent thrives on confrontation. Whenever he decides someone's crossed him, he goes straight for the jugular. Unfiltered Instagram posts, provocative interviews, and memes galore. He's not just your everyday internet troll, he's a master at turning grudges into media storms. Over the years, he's taken on heavyweight foes like Ja Rule, Floyd Mayweather, and Rick Ross, never once apologizing for his scorched earth approach. But this time, the target is Demetrius Big Meech Flenory, the legendary founder of the Black Mafia Family. People who've heard the BMF story know Big Meech as the man who built a massive operation across multiple states, turned it into a near-mythical empire, and famously refused to cooperate when the law came crashing down. For 50 Cent to label Meech a rat is like telling the world the king has no clothes. It's shocking, divisive, and nearly impossible to ignore. And yet, there's a bigger twist lurking underneath 50's accusations, centered on allegations of backdoor deals and hidden compromises. Before we get into the weeds of who snitched on whom, let's remember why Big Meech is such a revered name. Back in the late 80s and throughout the 90s, he and his brother, Terry Southwest T. Flenory, built the Black Mafia Family from the ground up, operating primarily out of Detroit before branching out into Atlanta. To some, they were street legends who carried themselves with style and swagger, throwing lavish parties and rubbing shoulders with major hip-hop figures. BMF Entertainment even posed as a music promotion agency, but behind the scenes, the Flenory brothers were allegedly orchestrating one of the largest and most sophisticated distribution networks in the country. When federal authorities finally clamped down on them in the mid-2000s, dozens of arrests followed. Many associates cut deals, turned informant, or wore wires. Big Meech, however, reportedly stayed silent, earning him a reputation as a stand-up guy who wouldn't flip even when his life hung in the balance. That's the legend. But recent developments claim something very different was happening behind closed prison doors. Fast forward to today. One of the biggest reasons 50 Cent is calling Big Meech a rat is because Meech has been working with Rick Ross, a man 50 detests on multiple levels. Their beef goes way back, fueled by near-constant insults, lawsuits, and personal jabs. The root? Ross was once a correctional officer, and 50 has never stopped reminding the world of that fact, calling him Officer Ricky, and slamming him for having ties to law enforcement. So, when word hit the internet that Big Meech was teaming up with Rick Ross for a welcome home concert in Florida, 50 had a field day. He lashed out on social media, posting cryptic messages and even rat emojis, implying Meech must be compromised if he's doing business with someone who used to guard prison gates. For 50, linking arms with Rick Ross is as good as rolling out the red carpet for the feds. Yet, there's another player in this drama, someone who's been close to Big Meech for years and is rumored to have worked with the government for just as long. Enter Tammy Cowens, a figure shrouded in controversy. For a long time, she's been described as Big Meech's best friend and business partner. She co-produced earlier BMF documentaries, and more importantly, she owns the rights to Big Meech's life story, a powerful piece of intellectual property for anyone aiming to make movies, TV shows, or docuseries about the Black Mafia family. But here's the catch. Tammy has been called a government informant multiple times. More than one person close to the situation has alleged that she's been cooperating with federal agencies since as early as 2008. If that's true, then it's quite the contradiction for Meech, who built his entire reputation on never talking to the feds. How could Meech be so close to someone rumored to be on the government's payroll? What makes this even more complicated is 50 Cent's own involvement. He worked with Tammy to develop his BMF series for Stars and maintained a professional relationship with her. If she really is an informant, doesn't that mean 50 was effectively doing business with someone on the government's side? Fans are calling it the ultimate hypocrisy. 50 blasts Meech for partnering with a rat, while he himself collaborated with Tammy for years. The plot thickens further once you dig into the allegations that Big Meech might have leveraged Tammy's connections to obtain an early release. The crux of the scandal hinges on Big Meech's prison term. Originally, he was handed a hefty 30-year sentence, which many believed he would serve almost in full. Then news broke that he was getting out early, set for release in 2025. Immediately, rumors swirled. How did he pull it off? Street code states that reducing a federal sentence often comes at a steep price, namely giving authorities names, intel, or testimony that helps them lock up bigger fish. Several individuals close to Big Meech have come forward, suggesting he and Tammy collaborated with the government to ensnare others in criminal activities. One name that crops up frequently is an old associate named Cuffy, who claimed Meech and Tammy lured him into a situation that led to his arrest. Audio from jailhouse phone calls shows Cuffy speaking openly about feeling betrayed. His daughter also posted videos detailing how she grew up viewing Meech as an uncle, only to discover he allegedly set up her father. Are these claims irrefutable proof? Not necessarily. Big Meech has stayed silent on the matter, possibly because speaking out could make things worse, or maybe because he has nothing to gain by fueling the rumors. Yet silence in this case hasn't helped. It's only made people more suspicious. Amid all the finger-pointing, some are questioning whether 50 Cent is motivated by genuine outrage or if he's leveraging the drama for a bigger purpose. For skeptics, the biggest question is why 50 Cent waited until now to drop the rat label on Meech. If Tammy has been an informant for years, and 50 has known about her role with BMF all along, why was he so willing to work with her? Critics argue that as soon as Meech linked up with Rick Ross, one of 50's longtime enemies, 50 pounced on the chance to discredit him publicly. They see it as a personal grudge disguised as moral outrage. Rick Ross isn't letting this slide either. He poked fun at 50, telling him to stop making business personal. Ross even used the controversy to hype his upcoming event, insisting that real bosses don't get caught up in drama when there's money to be made. On social media, many fans lean toward siding with Ross, viewing 50's rat accusations as opportunistic. Others maintain that it's about integrity. They argue that 50's point is valid. If you claim to be about loyalty and street code, you can't have it both ways. Meech can't claim he never cooperated with feds while keeping an alleged informant at his side. Then again, the same logic points right back at 50 for working with Tammy. Now that the finger-pointing has reached a fever pitch, where do things stand for each person involved? And what does it mean for the BMF brand moving forward? At the moment, Big Meech appears to be doubling down with Rick Ross, showing no signs of backing away from their alliance. For Meech, who spent years behind bars, maybe this is strictly a business move to secure financial freedom and rebuild a life. If that means forging partnerships 50 Cent disapproves of, so be it. Meanwhile, 50 is teasing new tell-all documents and hinting that more embarrassing details could soon come to light. Tammy Cowens remains an enigma. She hasn't addressed these informant allegations directly, yet continues to pop up at high-profile events and red carpets, sometimes alongside those who claim to despise rats. It begs the question, is she truly collaborating with the government? Or are people leveraging her rumored status to push their own agendas? The BMF series is still a major hit for Starz, and viewers are tuning in, partly because the real-life drama behind the scenes is just as gripping as what's on the screen. Fans can't help but wonder if the show will incorporate these controversies in future storylines, or if 50 will continue to steer the narrative in a way that benefits his feud with both Big Meech and Rick Ross. In the end, this saga is about more than just one person snitching on another. It's a tangled mess of loyalty, money, and personal grudges played out in the public eye. Big Meech built his name on a code that supposedly couldn't be compromised, yet the rumors suggest otherwise. 50 Cent is calling him out, but critics say 50 is just as entangled, given his own partnership with an alleged government informant. So, who's truly at fault? Did Big Meech abandon his principles to secure an earlier release? Or is 50 Cent fueling a narrative that benefits his own vendettas? We may never get an ironclad confession from either side. But one thing is clear, this drama has everybody watching, talking, and questioning the boundaries of friendship, business, and survival. Keep your eyes peeled for what might come next, because in a fight like this, the final twist could change everything.